Here we go. oKhaliD versus Rw9. Game number 2 today in this early morning for me. And I believe it's just afternoon for these guys, both Middle East players, oKhaliD and Rw9. I want to say it's probably around 3:30 their time, 3:30 p.m. Whereas for me, 6:30 a.m. So across the world here, as we watch this 1v1, Rw9, a 14-year-old youngster from the Middle East, one of the up-and-comers. Can't wait to see him get in some kind of next-gen competition because I think he could compete for the best. I'm not sure I've ever seen a Rw9 versus oKhaliD game. I imagine it has to have happened many times. I would think these Middle Eastern guys, whether or not just playing in ranked against each other, but playing in local tournaments, that I imagine there must be a good amount of. These guys have had a lot of opportunity to play against each other. You can kind of tell. I was thinking about this before, and I mentioned it when I've seen both of them play. Is I think a lot of top regions or like a lot of top teams in just competitive sports in general will kind of copy their better players and steal the good parts of their better teammates' games. And it seems like that's happened with oKhaliD and maybe the rest of the Middle East guys, or even oKhaliD from the other Middle East guys for all I know. Maybe he wasn't even the originator, but the ground game for the Middle East guys seems to be the best, as oKhaliD takes a nice bounce dribble off the post and out to help prove my point. But every last one of the Middle East players that has played in our stream so far has had some level of great ground game, whether it was their focus or not. They're all capable of it. Rw9, a nice single jump to place this one just inside the top left of the net. Chat saying Rw9 is more defensive than oKhaliD. I do think I was listening to Johnny talk about the best defenders, the best goal line defenders. And I want to say he was saying LionBlaze and Rw9. I think it was during the LionBlaze Drali series. So Johnny certainly knows his stuff. Definitely knows his EU stuff better than I would. Maybe there's a chance I know some NA stuff, but he really runs NA and EU. So we'll have to trust him. We've seen a few different Rw9 games, not only against Drali and Lorley, where he's went 1-1. I'm not sure if I mentioned the situation with the rest of the guys in the pool. I think I started to, but maybe got distracted. But every other player in this pool is in a 3-way tie. Maybe not by games, but at least they're all 1-1. So Rw9, Drali, and Lorley kind of went in the triangle of wins and losses. Rw9 lost to Drali, but beat Lorley. So now he's got an opportunity to maybe go 2-1 against oKhaliD here. oKhaliD is looking to send the entire pool to 1-2. And so far, he has started with that as he took Lorley down, but Rw9, his shot off the crossbar and down will put him up 4-2. This has been a high-scoring game, especially considering how calculated the last couple were between oKhaliD and Lorley. Not a lot of goals, but already at 4-2 a couple minutes into this one. Rw9 another kickoff win. He's going to try and go for the immediate air roll shot to keep this ball high. One of the things that I remember Randy was really complimenting Rw9 on as he recovers quickly off the wall to get a fifth is he had a lot of really strong air roll shots, which was, of course, something that I think a lot of these, every player at this level has to have. There's no way these guys are out here not hitting air roll shots, but, Rw9 seems to find the extra kind of heat off of these normal situations as he launched one off the backboard the last time he went for one, though. oKhaliD, immediately on the kickoff, we're talking about goal line defense and how Rw9 was one of the best. oKhaliD not bad himself, but apparently both these guys are too good at offense, as almost every single kickoff possession for either one of them seems to find its way in. oKhaliD another kickoff possession as he flicks this one high off the crossbar. Oh, and he gets Rw9 to miss. That was the only way he was going to be able to score it. If he tried to 50 it in, Rw9 was going to be able to help squeeze it out. So kind of an easy decision for oKhaliD. From his perspective, going up would be completely useless. He either has to hope for a complete miss by Rw9 or it's going to get saved no matter what. But man, this game is just so much scoring. We are on track for a 12-8 game right now. Ooh, oKhaliD. He thought about going back to steal Rawas's boost. I wonder if he was just trying to get, you know, Rawas thinking. We've seen Ricky do that a lot. He'll fake going to one boost and then switch to the other in an attempt to get his opposition to basically set up the wrong way. Rawas! A nice continuation on the 50. oKhaliD trying to save this off the post. I think we've seen a lot of different saves like that from oKhaliD at this point. Almost intentionally saving them just right off the post so that it bounces back down. Presumably so that he can get the next touch. This time it doesn't work out. Rawas ends up getting a nice touch instead. oKhaliD, his dribble intercepted by Rawas. Rawas demos oKhaliD, but oKhaliD, I think, might have gotten this to safety. Nope. Not a great spawn. oKhaliD spawning in maybe the worst possible place. And Rawas can drop it down, side flip it in. 8-4 for Rawas at the start of this one. Absolutely in the zone here against oKhaliD. Rawas the 50. I am not really sure what happened there at midfield. He didn't want to let that one continue to bounce. So he lobbed it to the air. oKhaliD, the air dribble. Doesn't use any flip reset if he did get it. Instead, just tries to force the 50. oKhaliD out of his own corner. Wants this dribble on the top of his car, but lost it there a little bit. You could tell in the setup he was forced to do that play because he was not going to be able to get back underneath the ball. oKhaliD, the ceiling shot, the low 50. Rawas just barely gets it out as he uses the post to bounce it out. 8-4. A minute left to go. Rawas looking like there's a strong chance he'll take an early lead unless oKhaliD comes alive here in the final minute. But Rawas will tap this one away. Not a lot of boost for him in his own half. He's going to come challenge early. He did a great job of hiding behind the ball. Watching that from oKhaliD's perspective, had no idea that Rawas was coming in. I figured he was probably staying back on the goal line. Ooh, this time Rawas tries to take it early, and oKhaliD pops it above. 30 seconds, 3 goals. Not impossible by any means, but definitely going to take some creativity from oKhaliD. I don't think he can just run a regular kickoff every single time without Rawas doing something to stop him. Another high pop, the power shot tapped into the corner. oKhaliD's continuation needed to be immediately in. He couldn't afford to set it up for 2 touches. So 10 seconds left to go. Rawas looking like he'll take game number 1 from oKhaliD as oKhaliD goes for the nice, interesting ground dribble. That's the first real ground dribble. I know we talk about, you know, dribbling it with on top of your car, but the real dribble is when you smack it off the ground and back up to you. oKhaliD versus Rawas. Rawas taking an early lead. Up 1-0. Using the power of the orange team to take him to victory. oKhaliD will get first possession of this game number 2. That last game started so fast. There was so much scoring to start it out. By the time we, had finished discussing who both players were and any of the context of this game, Rawas had already earned, a couple goal lead that he was eventually able to just hold on to the rest of the game. This time around, starting a little bit slower. oKhaliD, a nice bounce dribble. He'll just go for a power shot. Rawas has to send it high, but he's playing out of his own net, and he does so well. But oKhaliD has been a fiend on the boost, forcing every defender back into his net. This time, the early challenge doesn't work for Rawas. In fact, these long-distance early challenges have been getting read pretty easily by oKhaliD. When we've seen him playing in net, he's done okay, but he can't be challenging from this far away. Maybe some fake challenges are in order for Rawas. I'll tell you what, nothing hurts like a kickoff goal to make back up, but oKhaliD, great recovery. don't think Rwas has that much boost. So wait, never mind. He caught some at midfield. What was I thinking? A nice 50. And Rwas hovering behind this ball. I think he looked a little bit awkward. I think if you look from khaled's perspective, he was reversing back to that ball. It seemed like an opportunity for khaled to potentially take it away from him. But the reaction time was a little bit late. By the time he decided to come challenge, that was when Rwas had finally gained control. I'm surprised Rwas even got a touch on that. I thought that was the most open of open nets as Rwas tries to set it up. A nice wave dash. And goodness, he almost was able to redirect it away. khaLeD grabbing midfield boost. I think that was very intentional. I think the backfield boost is the more natural one to grab in that situation, but he wants Rwas forced back into his half. So he made sure to make the midfield boost disappear. But Rwas able to come back on offense either way. Has 100 of his own. A nice wave dash mix-up to get it past khaLeD, but can he force it in? He will! Nice play from Rwas. The ground play from Rwas and the dribbles and the outplays. You know, without the flicks. Rwas does it in a way that I feel like I don't see a lot of other 1v1 players doing, which is he's not like popping it or flicking it above people. He's just has such crazy wave dashes and cuts to bring it around and then finds a way to get it back in the net in every one of those situations. So even though that wave dash sent it so far the opposite side of the net, Rwas gets it back online to get a second. Tie game. Rwas, the long shot, not only is going to cost him the last bit of boost he had, it's also going to be very easy to save. So interesting decision from Rwas, who had been playing really, really well up until this point. I don't know if he had given any free ones like that away, but sometimes it's hard to resist just dropping off that ball, even though it might be the right thing to do, just completely leaving it, handing over a totally free possession, just knowing that you aren't really in position to make a good touch. Or, I don't even think khaLeD was that close. Might have just been able to drop it down to the ground and try and make a ground play. But 3-2, khaLeD with the lead. Rwas, a miss at the corner boost. Gonna force him right back into net. This time the early challenge is a fake challenge. khaLeD's flick plays right into it. khaLeD, his long shot, hitting the ground too early. Needed that to be up in the air to actually force a tough save from Rwas. Rwas trying to starve khaLeD out. He's in a tough situation, but a nice 50, and patience from khaLeD is going to give him a goal. How much boost was khaLeD operating on? He knew he was in a good position here. Did not need to be worried about the counter or the quick turnaround from Rwas, who was basically shadowing at midfield. And Rwas, desperate to stay on offense and not give khaLeD an opportunity to reset, tries to go for that backflip and just plays right into khaLeD's hands. A nice 50 on the wall. Rwas, I'm surprised he didn't go for the bump. Oh wait, he got khaLeD to own goal. I thought for sure Rwas was going to try and bump khaLeD out of the way on his recovery here, because that was the only way I thought he'd be able to score. But I guess another way is to take one for the team and just let khaLeD slap it straight in the goal himself. High lob. Rwas will take it in the air. khaLeD, a super early pre-jump, so all Rwas has to do is tap it above. Can he get back to it? No, he can't. I felt like that was an opportunity that Rwas would normally convert. I mean, it wasn't the easiest of plays, but it certainly was an open net based on these top-level guys' standards. And it was a great read of the early challenge. Whenever you see that pre-jump, it's smart to take it high off the back wall and then just go for the continuation. khaLeD, a nice 50. He'll die. Can Rwas get there? He can't. 5-3 for khaLeD. Rwas just a little bit too low on that challenge. Help pinching it up with khaLeD. Ooh, Rawas. That was an easier goal than I think he expected to get. oKhaliD trying to backwards dribble this out of dangerous way, but he went just a little bit too long. The first couple touches made sense. I think the first couple touches were correct to bring it back to the corner, but then he thought, hey, I'm backwards dribbling. Maybe I just keep doing it. And ultimately offers it over easy for Rawas. 30 seconds left to go. Rawas needs another to bring it back to tied and force an overtime here in game number 2. oKhaliD played his lead so well in the last series. Wow, he'll do it again. Rawas. He must not have thought this was online, because he has all the boosts in the world. He had 70. He resets at 100. He absolutely can save this, but he must have just decided it's going off the post and out. And if it is, he doesn't want to jump up for it. He wants to try and, you know, gain a dribble off of it. But the cost was a goal and likely the game as the clock winds down. Game number 2 going to go to oKhaliD as he ties it up against his Middle Eastern cohort. 1-1 as we head to game number 3. oKhaliD versus Rawas. Rawas with the early start, oKhaliD with the strike back. This has been a great series so far. Rawas going to start this game stuck in his net. oKhaliD will lob one in for a first. Not a bad bit of defense from Rawas, but ultimately lobbing that one high with his double jump. And in a situation where you don't have boost, that's not ideal. Rawas, ooh, his shot saved away, and he got lost a little bit on the post there. Might have had a good enough recovery to not be in trouble. I'm surprised oKhaliD didn't dive in and take that back corner boost, but he must have realized Rawas was going to have a quick counter. This should be an open net for oKhaliD. It will be. 2-0. I tell you what, guys, if we have a game with oKhaliD, Jack, or Daniel, it seems like all Chat can talk about is who's the best and when. And I saw this game happen, and this game happened this one time. 3-0 for oKhaliD. Rawas looking for some offense to start this game. An interesting setup off the corner. Actually resulted in a pretty nice shot, but oKhaliD, man, he has started off this game number 3 absolutely in the zone. Another close save and a lob to the volley to himself. That single jump shot, 71 kilometers per hour. I think that got slowed down by the wall a little bit. That must have went off the post and in, because that was certainly faster than that. Rawas, nice low 50 to get himself a first. Good reaction to the oKhaliD turn and challenge. Pull off the ball and push it off the sidewall for his first goal. oKhaliD, a strong lob to midfield. A little bit too much separation, I think, gave Rawas an opportunity to save, but he bumps Rawas in the process. Nice bit of defense from Rawas off the back wall. Making a read on when oKhaliD was going to get a touch. It's really hard to get those clears effectively. But Rawas did well. His low 50 did not work. I think he was hoping to meet oKhaliD as he went for that side flip. But oKhaliD was a little bit farther back than expected. So instead of forcing it through oKhaliD, he ended up just softly rolling it to him. And the result was he flew into the net, which is such a tough spot to be with that low boost that Rawas was playing with. Seems like oKhaliD's opponents, wait a second, are playing with low boost a lot. How did this one go? An immediate kickoff. Both of them fight for it. I think they helped pinch it in. I don't think that was purely Rawas's touch. That was going way too fast. I want to say oKhaliD must have got the first touch, and then Rawas gave it a little bit extra power. 5-2. An early start for oKhaliD. Rawas trying to work his way back. The pre-jump ends up working out. Rawas did see it coming, tried to get that early touch to give it a little bit more arc, but oKhaliD's pre-jump's still in the way. Rawas, the ground game, trying to force it in with pure muscle, not able to. Nice recovery off the ball here. After oKhaliD almost pushed it right through him. Man, Rawas is so quick out of his own half. He'll launch this one away, but he's stuck in net again, this time with 100 boosts. Big challenge, and the 50 stops the oKhaliD attack, but he is playing with a lead and does not seem worried about forcing the issue. That being said, Rawas still able to take it away. Rawas, not the best of first touches in the air. Not able to create anything out of that possession, but he'll challenge immediately. oKhaliD, not a great touch. Trying to clear that into a non-dangerous spot, but instead ended up lobbing a great bounce shot, really, for Rawas. So Rawas has oKhaliD in a tough spot. Has him in reverse. Chips it past him. Can he find the tight angle? No, he can't. It was going to be tough. Normally, that's one of Rawas's best traits. He can seem to outplay it to either direction past the defender and almost always find a way to score it on the continuation. 5-2. oKhaliD just absolutely starting this game with a huge burst and has been holding on to that burst the rest of the way. Cannot bump Rawas. Having to make this clear out of the corner. Not going to work, and Rawas has the boost, so he'll get a third. Rawas has been loving taking these high bounces into dribbles. Oh, that would have been an insane angle. But oKhaliD has been able to handle them very well. He's been pre-jumping them basically right away. And I think Rawas might have been able to tap it over him for one outplay, but I want to say you've actually failed to score that one too. So for the most part, oKhaliD handling those air dribbles really well. In fact, neither one of these guys finding a lot of success in the air against each other. oKhaliD going to take game number 3 and go up 2-1 here against Rawas. A huge burst in the first minute ends up giving him the lead and winning the game. Game number 4. oKhaliD versus Rawas. It may feel like the momentum is in oKhaliD's favor coming off of this last game win, but if you just look at the last 4 minutes of game number 3, Rawas was actually up 2-1 and, you know, therefore had been slightly outplaying oKhaliD. So as long as Rawas can keep that energy for the most part in the beginning of this next game, he should have a chance to send it to game 5. oKhaliD a catch to kill this ball. Take it down to the on-card dribble. His flick, perfectly placed as always. This time, the clear strong enough to send it all the way back to the back corner. oKhaliD on the attack once again. Rawas electing to play this shot of defense and does so well. Flick his way as both these guys just launch each other's flicks off the backboard. Will Rawas be the first to score on the continuation? He will. A nice place shot. You can see oKhaliD setting up for everything close. And Rw9 making that last little adjustment to get around the ball and put it off the post and in. 1-0 for Rw9. Rw9 playing a little bully game as he carries oKhaliD out of the way. oKhaliD taken for a trip out to midfield. oKhaliD with his first goal off the kickoff. We saw these guys scoring a lot on kickoff here. I'm going to tab out real quick. We saw these guys scoring super quickly off kickoff earlier in the beginning of the series, but it had been calming down since then. oKhaliD the first to show a lethal dribble off the start once again. Rw9 going for a fast play. The cost might be a goal on his net. Anytime you launch yourself that hard at the ball, you really need a good shot because you're sending yourself all the way back to the opponent's net and completely killing your recovery. So a bit of an all-in play from Rw9 doesn't work out, but a good kickoff goal, 3-2. Another high-scoring one at the start. oKhaliD forcing a save out of Rw9. And the boost starvation play will start. Somehow Rw9 has been able to hold on to 30. But Rw9 has handled this situation well. I don't really remember any long possessions for oKhaliD. We just saw in the oKhaliD versus Lorley series where he kept Lorley, in his back half. That being said, this one's not going to be that long because oKhaliD is just going to score. But he kept Lorley back there for minutes, it felt like at times. Rw9, the slow play oKhaliD, man. He has had so many different saves today where he just barely positions to take him off the post and out. And to be fair, it's probably indicative of the fact that he's covering as many options as possible as he's able to force this one in for a fourth. But he'll set up in a way that, covers everything on the far post, or as much as he can on the far post, and then Rw9 will try and sneak it in near post. And somehow oKhaliD makes that recovery and that flipped just barely every time. Pinch it off the wall and keep it out. Rw9 pass to himself. Nice shot. This is a great adjustment. Rw9 has been going for these high bounce dribbles. This time he flies up to the ball and gets very far around it, side flipping it to give it that little bit of redirection that oKhaliD can't get to. An impressive shot from Rw9. Handling the pre-jumps from oKhaliD well. oKhaliD has been pre-jumping those every single time. So this time Rw9 gives it what it needs to find the net. Wall to air dribble. oKhaliD faking the challenge on the ceiling. Rw9 will pop it above and get a fifth as he takes the lead late in this game. Great catch and pop. oKhaliD just getting back there a little bit too late. Not a bad idea to show high, but to be fair, I will say that neither one of these guys, nice shot from oKhaliD to immediately tie it back up, but neither one of these guys have been doing too amazing in the air. If Rw9 is going to go for a nice wall air dribble, these guys can do it, don't get me wrong. We've seen from both of them some amazing play in the air. But, I wouldn't fault either one of these guys if they tried to force the other to make the outplay in the air as opposed to making, the sneak underneath easy on them. Rw9, the air dribble bump for a sixth. This is an actual dribble bump. I'll tell you what, we see a lot of bumps, like double jump bumps and air, quote-unquote air dribble bumps that touch it like one time. That right there was a real air dribble bump. Multiple carrying touches from Rw9 as he flies down before getting the bump. oKhaliD down 1 with a minute left to go. Rw9 the long shot. He'll make it down 2. oKhaliD's so good at securing his leads when he's had them late right around this time. We'll see if Rw9 can do it the same. oKhaliD might have scored an immediate kickoff goal. It's gotta hurt. I tell you what, this game isn't even close to over if these guys are going to keep scoring these quick kickoff goals. oKhaliD, air dribble bump, just like that. It took no time. It took no time. The oKhaliD fans, were they worried? No, not for a second. As he gets a double jump bump. And I think that took him about 12 seconds, if even, before he's immediately back to a tie game. 45 seconds left to go. oKhaliD certainly trying to finish it here in Game 4. Rw9 trying to force a Game 5 hype. Nice steal, the boost in the corner. Rw9 in the air. oKhaliD another pre-jump. Getting Rw9 to mix this up. I can't see my alerts right now. I'm hearing interesting sounds, though. (7-7) with 10 left to go. Rw9, very soft touch, trying to get the second one for this dribble. His power shot will force a tough save. He's going to go to keep it in the air. He just might, but I wonder. He gets oKhaliD to miss. He's going to grab this corner boost. No. So now he probably wishes it had hit the ground. Now oKhaliD's going to have a dribble of his own. Back the other way. I'm imagining. Oh, I was going to say, imagining air dribble bump. Seems like a nice safe play to end overtime. Wait, oKhaliD caught it. No, Rw9. Rw9. He had an opportunity. He's got 30 boost, but he doesn't get a touch off the wall. He's out of the game. oKhaliD sneaks underneath it and carries it in to win it 3-1. Man, what a close series. But oKhaliD will take it in Game 4. Game number 4. oKhaliD versus Rw9. It may feel like the momentum is in oKhaliD's favor coming off of this last game win, but if you just look at the last 4 minutes of game number 3, Rw9 was actually up 2-1 and, you know, therefore had been slightly outplaying oKhaliD. So as long as Rw9 can keep that energy for the most part in the beginning of this next game, he should have a chance to send it to Game 5. oKhaliD a catch to kill this ball. Take it down to the on-car dribble. His flick, perfectly placed as always. This time, the clear strong enough to send it all the way back to the back corner. oKhaliD on the attack once again. Rw9 electing to play this shadow defense and does so well. Flick his way as both these guys just launch each other's flicks off the backboard. Will Rw9 be the first to score on the continuation? He will. A nice place shot. You can see oKhaliD setting up for everything close, and Rw9 making that last little adjustment to get around the ball and put it off the post and in. 1-0 for Rw9. Rwas playing a little bully game as he carries oKhaliD out of the way. oKhaliD taken for a trip out to midfield. oKhaliD with his first goal off the kickoff. We saw these guys scoring a lot on kickoff here. I'm going to tab out real quick. We saw these guys scoring super quickly off kickoff earlier in the beginning of the series, but it had been calming down since then. oKhaliD the first to show a lethal dribble off the start once again. Rwas going for a fast play. The cost might be a goal on his net. Anytime you launch yourself that hard at the ball, you really need a good shot because you're sending yourself all the way back to the opponent's net and completely killing your recovery. So a bit of an all-in play from Rwas. Doesn't work out. But a good kickoff goal, 3-2. Another high-scoring one at the start. oKhaliD forcing a save out of Rwas. And the boost starvation play will start. Somehow Rwas has been able to hold on to 30. But Rwas has handled this situation well. I don't really remember any long possessions for oKhaliD. We just saw in the oKhaliD versus Lorley series where he kept he kept Lorley, in his back half. That being said, this one's not going to be that long because oKhaliD's just going to score. But he kept Lorley back there for minutes, it felt like at times. Rwas, the slow play oKhaliD, man. He has had so many different saves today where he just barely positions to take him off the post and out. And to be fair, it's probably indicative of the fact that he's covering as many options as possible as he's able to force this one in for a fourth. But he'll set up in a way that, covers everything on the far post, or as much as he can on the far post, and then Rwas will try and sneak it in near post. And somehow oKhaliD makes that recovery and that flipped just barely every time. Pinch it off the wall and keep it out. Rwas pass to himself. Nice shot. This is a great adjustment. Rwas has been going for these high bounce dribbles. This time he flies up to the ball and gets very far around it, side flipping it to give it that little bit of redirection that oKhaliD can't get to. An impressive shot from Rwas. Handling the pre-jumps from oKhaliD well. oKhaliD has been pre-jumping those every single time. So this time Rwas gives it what it needs to find the net. Wall to air dribble. oKhaliD faking the challenge on the ceiling. Rwas will pop it above and get a fifth as he takes the lead late in this game. Great catch and pop. oKhaliD just getting back there a little bit too late. Not a bad idea to show high, but to be fair, I will say that neither one of these guys, nice shot from oKhaliD to immediately tie it back up, but neither one of these guys have been doing too amazing in the air. If Rwas is going to go for a nice wall air dribble, these guys can do it, don't get me wrong. We've seen from both of them some amazing play in the air. But, I wouldn't fault either one of these guys if they tried to force the other to make the outplay in the air as opposed to making, the sneak underneath easy on them. Rwas, the air dribble bump for a sixth. This is an actual dribble bump. I tell you what, we see a lot of bumps, like double jump bumps and quote-unquote air dribble bumps that touch it like one time. That right there was a real air dribble bump. Multiple carrying touches from Rwas as he flies down before getting the bump. oKhaliD down 1 with a minute left to go. Rwas the long shot. He'll make it down 2. oKhaliD's so good at securing his leads when he's had them late right around this time. We'll see if Rwas can do it the same. oKhaliD might have scored an immediate kickoff goal. It's got to hurt. I tell you what, this game isn't even close to over if these guys are going to keep scoring these quick kickoff goals. oKhaliD, air dribble bump, just like that. It took no time. It took no time. The oKhaliD fans, were they worried? No, not for a second. As he gets a double jump bump. And I think that took him about 12 seconds, if even, before he's immediately back to a tie game. 45 seconds left to go. oKhaliD certainly trying to finish it here in Game 4. Rwas trying to force a Game 5 hype. Nice steal, the boost in the corner. Rwas in the air. oKhaliD, another pre-jump. Getting Rwas to mix this up. I can't see my alerts right now. I'm hearing interesting sounds, though. (7-7) with 10 left to go. Rwas, very soft touch, trying to get the second one for this dribble. His power shot will force a tough save. He's going to go to keep it in the air. He just might, but I wonder. He gets oKhaliD to miss. He's going to grab this corner boost. No. So now he probably wishes it had hit the ground. Now oKhaliD's going to have a dribble of his own. Back the other way. I'm imagining. Oh, I was going to say, imagining air dribble bump. Seems like a nice safe play to end overtime. Wait, oKhaliD caught it. No, Rwas. Rwas. He had an opportunity. He's got 30 boost, but he doesn't get a touch off the wall. He's out of the game. oKhaliD sneaks underneath it and carries it in to win it 3-1. Man, what a close series. But oKhaliD will take it in Game 4.